Good morning. So in the last class, we have gone through the solution for the internal exam 1, right? Please refer that particular video. Those who have missed today, I'm going to upload that. And there won't be any separate scheme announced separately, right? And please remember, in software engineering, for every problem, you have a different solutions also, right? Every answer will be evaluated separately for its relevance and correctness, both, right? Nice. So with this, we will begin whatever we have stopped. In fact, we were in the unit number 3, talking about the system models. In that, context models, behavioral model, data model, right, object model, right, structured methods, etc. And partly we refer to UI design related things. Earlier we referred it object oriented design, that already I have discussed in the first few hours of your training program and all, right? So we will get into architectural design. We referred it, but we'll continue that. And next few classes, maybe around another week or so, right, we will get into agile methods, extreme programming. People talk about that, rapid application development, and legacy system, software maintenance. All these aspects will mix up, right, add on things and what textbook speaks about. So all these things we'll try to cover and be ready for the internal exam number 2, right? Already 50% of the internal exam 2 portion we have completed, right? Remaining things we'll get into. Remember, IA2 will focus mainly on design, right? No theoretical stuff at all, right? And already you got experience of that one in question number 1A. Similarly, everywhere it will be like that. You'll be asked to write a class diagram, you'll be asked to write a use case diagram, sequence diagram, state diagram in a different given context. UI redesigning that thing, assessing the quality of that, right? Object oriented models, all that things we refer it to that. So with us, we will continue from where we have stopped before the internal exam 1, right? Arpita and Dikshita. Okay, is it okay? Shall we begin?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's good, right? Keep on frequently responding to my calls so that things can get into. See, in the last class before the IA1 and all, we discussed about the ER model, data models and all, right? In that, the structural constraint, how do you mention about that? We have gone through, right? Please refer it. Then we will get into architectural design and keep moving in this line. So when we talk about the architecture, okay, what is an architecture diagram, what it should contain, and what textbook speaks about. Okay, all black and white image, whatever I show right now, what I'm showing, they're all from textbook. Okay, remaining all is add-on things added so that learning can be better, right? So when we talk about the architecture diagram, it speaks about the overall system, right? Components, their need for that, their connectivity, and it is an overall system. I mean, the different component that makes the system and their connectivity, their behavior, and all these things, right? It is about the architecture diagram, right? Then what is the use of this, right? So now look at that. Different stakeholder will have a different perspective about that. So it is being used for the stakeholder communication, right? Stakeholder communication, fine. It represents a high level, presentation of the overall system. Okay, system analysis, making the system architecture explicit at the early stage in the system development requires some kind of an analysis. You need to understand what makes a system, what are the components of that particular system, right? That's then large scale reuse. A system architecture model is a compact, manageable description of how system is organized and how the components interoperate. When I speak about the connectivity and all, connectivity speaks about what kind of the exchange of information that we do. It is at the abstract level, right? And their behavior, everything is included into that one. So people can reuse that, right? How do the people they reuse and all? I'll speak about that. Probably at this stage, it is too early to speak about how to reuse and all. When I take a standard architecture and all, right? Today you take any business application, people talk about the model view controller. It is a kind of an architecture, right? In fact, we call as a design patterns, right? Anyhow, I'll be referring to that one. Design patterns, when I talk about that, a simple example, when you go to a shop, right, you wanted to buy the tiles and all for your home construction, right? They have got a booklet. Earlier days, the booklets were there. Now you have got large displays and all, right? They're all design patterns, right? When you go to purchase a carpet and all, at least I have gone through when I was studying, Bhavani Carpet, they are famous worldwide. When you go there, literally they have a book, and in the book the carpet pieces are put into that one and they are being given number. Okay, look into that. Color variation will be there, but the pattern, the border and all. When you go to Davangere for purchasing sari and all, right, there also you have a pattern. Calcutta cotton, that is a different thing. Coimbatore, Irikal, right? So you find that there are different design patterns. Now, what is the design pattern? Design patterns are nothing but, right, they're the solution for commonly occurring problems, right? Commonly occurring problems, they pick it and they give a framework for that. They give an architectural view for that so that you can use and put your business specifications into that, right? When you build an architecture, okay, when you build an architecture, they are specific and they can be seen at the abstract level, also generic, also you can see it. I'll give an example, right? Wait for that, but for to some extent, okay, what is given in the book, we'll navigate through that and then we'll go outside beyond the book like this, right? But please remember, software engineering is not what is given in the book. Software engineering is beyond the book. Now look at that. Is there a generic application architecture that can act as a template for, right, a system that is being designed? Maybe. That's what I was talking about that, right? Arpita Nodon, right? Arpita Nodon, right? Arpita, right? It can be converted into question. Of course, it's a question only. Is there okay, generic application architecture that can act as a template for a system that is being designed? Okay, if so, right? Prepare a business scenario and explain the generic architecture. That may be a question. Prepare a generic scenario and explain the architecture, right? How will the system be distributed across a number of processors? Could be at the systems level. What architectural style or the styles are appropriate for a system? What will be the fundamental approach used to structure the system? Please look into that, right? Prepare a business scenario to explain a generic fundamental approach used to structure the system, right? I'm going to give examples, right? How will structural units in the system be decomposed into modules? My architecture diagram speaks about that, right? What strategy will be used to control the operations of unit in the system, right? How will the architectural design be evaluated, right? How should the architecture of the system be documented, right? These are all the thought process that gets into, right, when you build an architecture. You need to deeply analyze, you need to visualize the system. That's why in the fourth semester, right, you had something called a project at the ideation phase. Can you create an idea in the form of an architecture, right? Right, got it. And best example is you can ask Govind in his IoT, right? He has got a third question number 3, right? So there is a very interesting question, right? Can you find out a problem in the village society, right? Then can you, right, visualize a solution space for that? Solution play space is not necessary, I mean, should not be, in fact, right, the programming stuff there. Please understand that, right? What all the component, okay, anybody can do it, not necessarily computer engineer. It's a common sense. Got it? Architecture diagram, architect building and architecture is a common sense. What all the component that makes a system, how they are connected, how they are organized, how they are likely be deployed. Okay, early, ahead of time, can you build visualization? Arpita and Dikshita, am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, right.
Yes, sir.
But please look into that. In the examination, such a story, what I'm telling you will not get it. You'll get a 1-page description surely. This time, question paper will be a 4-page question paper. Right? Got it. And we'll give more time also, not necessarily 1 hour. This time we are given more, no? In fact, we are given 2 hours. Am I right? Dikshita?
Yes, sir.
Right. We'll give more time, right, and submit it. So in fact, question paper will be 4 pages. Please look into that, right? So you'll be given a description and you'll be asked to, okay, the construct architecture diagram, construct a use case diagram, construct okay, the scenarios under use cases. For every scenario, can you build a sequence diagram, right? Can you build a class diagram, right? All the things we speak about that, right? So the freestyle approach of thinking a solution, okay, that is very important. Please attend all the classes, don't miss it. If you restrict a book, okay, you'll be restricting your marks also, right? Now, maybe when architecture, look at the what book speaks about that. Static structural model. Okay, it is about the what we were talking about, the subsystem, right? What are the different subsystems? So now look at the human body. Human body can be seen in the form of several subsystems, digestion system, right? Then blood circulation system, right? Then like this, there are okay many things that okay they are independent, but yet they are connected. Can you describe human body, right? Sensory organs, digestion system, okay, thus nerves, okay, and all that okay system which carries electrical signals. Got it? So like this, liver, okay, it has its own functionality. It's a module by itself, subsystem by itself. Got it? Heart, it is subsystem by itself. Got it? So everything has okay is a system connected. They are independent, connected. Okay, they are okay. They work in cooperation with each other. They cooperate, right? They synchronize with each other. Please look at the brain sends the signals. You have to pick a bottle, a moving bottle. You have to pick it, right? Then you need to synchronize the speed at which the bottle is coming. The signal, brain sends a signal to the hand. Hand at appropriate speed, it will go pick it, right? So all this calculation, how does they do? It is called synchronization. I'm talking the orderly manner in which event occurs, the synchronous, asynchronous mode of working. Everything you will see in the human body. Are you getting it? Human body is the best example to show the system architecture, okay, and different properties of an architecture. I mean, system. What we talk about subsystems, coordination, cooperation, synchronization, dependency, dependable things, right? Asynchronous operation, synchronous operations. All the things matters, right? So you have a static structural model, subsystems. What makes subsystem? Put it in a box and connect it. Dynamic process model, right? Dynamic process model, right? It is organized into process at runtime, right? Got it, right? Then probably a dynamic process model you can capture very well in state diagram. State diagram, what happens is, don't ask that one, what is there in the runtime? Runtime in the sense, entire runtime is captured in a single diagram. See, if this event occurs in particular this state, this will be the next state. Is it not a runtime things you are capturing on paper? Right? Already we have gone through the state diagram, right? Interface model. What all the services offered in a class diagram? The third part, right, is okay. Class. Okay, wait. I'll show you about that. Let me put a compartment markers here, right? A class is represented okay like this. There are three parts in that already we have gone through. One is the name of the class. Then second compartment is all attributes, right? The third one is services provided. We call methods, function, whatever you call, right? That's right. Is it not an interface? Okay, given an object, okay, subsystem. When you talk about the subsystem is made up of several components, right? Component is made up of several, right, objects and all. Object is the lowest possible entity which you can see in a system, right? In okay structured way, when you look into that, it is the lowest possible things. Below that, I mean below that we will not break into the things, right? All okay object grouped into packages. Packages together may act as a components and all. Components put together may act as a subsystem. Subsystem connected, cooperated manner, orderly manner acts as a system, right? So when you talk about the interface model, people highlighting about the services provided by object level, component level, or it could be at the subsystems level. or it could be at the systems level. When we talk about the system level interfaces, okay, services, they are nothing but the use cases, right? A particular use case may use several component, okay, then it may use several methods of different object put together, it may make one service. Am I right? Does. So this is the view of whatever that we can see. So this is a small part of the whole system, right? That you can see a system. These are all okay subsystems. What you can see, right? And this subsystem, one subsystem is made up of several components, right? A particular component. Now look into that. This marking, whatever I'm doing on the screen. This component made up of one object here. It could be another object here. The n number of object. Okay, that makes system. So services offered by the object is a one level of service interface. We can see services offered by this component. Services offered by this particular subsystem. Services offered by the whole system. Right? This is an abstraction at which we need to visualize. And the very important thing is what is the relationship among that? Why do you do packaging? Right? Why do you do packaging? Why do you connect one object with other object, okay, and prepare a class model? Right? Distribution model speaks about right where they are distributed. Though I show everything in one screen here, not necessarily that this subsystem may be installed in Bangalore, this subsystem may be in Chennai, right? This may be in Bombay, and this may be in Dharwad. All together, they're all distributed. How they are distributed? When we talk about the system, don't visualize that everything at one place. Dharwad, in my college, in my department, in my room, on my table, in my system, and in my pocket. No. No. That's why, okay, deployment model is another thing which we talk about that in UML models, right? Yes. Dikshita and Arpita, does our discussion made some sense now? Theoretical sense, so that we get into examples.
Yes, sir.
Right, right. So I'll keep moving. The textbook question I'll keep moving, and then once I cover that one, I'll go back to my own way of other examples. Right? Now look at that. This is the one simple example, right? The textbook speaks about as an architecture, right? Look at that. Here is a translator. Here is an editor. Here is a code generator. Here is a program editor. Here is a report generator, right? Okay, analyzer, right? And this is a project repository, right? The architecture of an integrated case tool. It is a tool, system tool for project management, development, right? Design development, okay, kind of things, right? Which provides a platform so that people can work on that. It is a tool, right? For that, it is an architecture. Now look at that, the architecture of a film and picture library system, a business application which is going to speak about building, okay, repository system for the film and picture library, right? Here are the end users. Here is through internet people can access about that, right? Catalog server, library catalog, video server, film clips and files, picture server, okay, digitized photographs, web servers, film and photo information. But these are all different servers which you make it connected through your web page, right? You need not know where they are located. That's what we call as a location transparency, right? Your role is to just give a request from which site, where it is distributed, where it is deployed. You need not know. You get the services offered by any of these servers. Servers, when we talk about that, okay, at the two different level, we think about that. One is at the hardware level server, we think about that, and the software level services, we think about that. Got it? A particular hardware may provide different servers, okay? Picture server, video server may be integrated in one server only, right? Maybe at different places. Got it? Now this is a diagram which speaks about that. It is a very abstract level. It speaks about, oh, these are the 4 services it provides, and there are different servers available, and you can web enabled, okay, applications it is, right? That's the information I captured from this. Dakshita, Arpita, I'm okay?
Yes, sir.
But given one page description, can you build this? Yeah, that's a point. Okay, look. Now look at that. Okay, even network model, you speak about layered models and all. Okay, just 1 minute. There is a call. I'm back here. So in network model, you are gone for ISO ASM model, no? Am I right? Arpita, Dikshita?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What is the purpose of that? Can you tell me? Why do you go for layers? Why do you go for layers?
Implementation will be easy.
Okay. In what terms they are easy? Okay, what terms? What terms it is easy? Now look at that. Okay, here I'll speak about that layers. See, architectural pattern, this layer is one of the architectural pattern, right? Now here what is the basic principle is that each layer provides a substrate for communication at some level of abstraction, right? A layer architecture pattern helps to structure application that can be decomposed into groups of subtasks, and each group of subtasks is at a particular level of abstraction, and that is a layer. Please understand. By doing this, what is that the advantage you get is, right? Changes should not, I mean, look at that whenever, for example, in a network layer, you are using particular protocol, a protocol number X, and tomorrow you want to change the protocol X to Y, right? So within that layer only you have to do the changes. The changes will not affect the data link layer or maybe a session layer, maybe application layer at all, as long as interface remains same. So these changes, whenever you do, the impact of that, called ripple in software engineering, that is limited within the layer itself. And that is the advantage of going for a layer. Changes should not ripple through the system, right? As long as interfaces are stable, you should not change the interface. So that what happens is parts of the system, you can exchange it with, okay, you can reuse it also. Because every layer is independent. Every layer captures certain abstraction of the system, which is independent of other abstraction, right? And it is limited within its boundary. Are you getting this? Arpita?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
The advantage of this is that one, right? Development is easy. Mainly, the maintenance will be easy. Whenever you bring a change, the impact of the change is called ripple that is captured within that particular layer. This is similar to a class. A layer can be visualized as a class, right? What is the advantage of abstraction, right? Or what is the advantage of encapsulation? The advantage of encapsulation is it will enhance, right, design maintainability. How? Don't say that one data and methods are put together, it is for security purpose and all. They're all wrong answers, right? The purpose of encapsulation is to make ensure that the interface with outside world is through only interface, so that any internal change you do, it doesn't affect the outside world. Thereby, right, you can facilitate maintenance. Is that clear, Arpita?
Yes, sir. Yes.
How good is this for placement preparation? Tell me. Okay, my friend is sitting here, Govind. Okay, let me invite him for the discussion, right? So how good is this for discussion for the placement, right? And what I meant to say, don't think that this is going, you are going to get it for placement. No. Every subject, every chapter, every topic, every page, every paragraph of every course, you have to study in this particular way. That's what I'm telling you. Okay, what are the layers? Why you go for the layers? Right? What is encapsulation? Putting data and method together, that's not the answer. Okay, or some people say about that security. What is security? Nothing. It is nowhere connected. The objective of making encapsulation is that its interaction with outside world is through only interface because of the design maintainability of the thing. For that purpose, are you getting it? We use another term called cohesion, highly cohesive. What is the meaning of that? It has single purposeness, and everything purpose for which that object or that layer is being built, that is within that layer only. Are you clear about that?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I don't know how you are enjoying this, but at least I'm enjoying talking to you. Are you getting it? Okay, fine. Right. This is about the layer that we talk about that. Right? Then object model, class diagrams. Right? I told you 3 layers. One is a use of the, name of the class. Then second one is all the attributes, variables used in that. Then you have a interface. This interface, I don't mean that Java interface, please understand. Nothing to do with that. In fact, I don't know Java, but I can teach Java. I taught Java. Right now, I don't know Java. Okay, because Java is not my focus. Are you getting this? Right? So, I'll take an example of a class diagram at this stage. Right? All of you see here. So beautiful thing. Can you read the class diagram? Can you read the class diagram? Now look at that. This allows us, this is about the system which allow the user to draw different diagrams like a circle, polygon, spline, arc, line, point. It is something like your engineering drawing kind of things, you are visualizing it. So diagram is made up of 0 or 1 or more, right? Figure. Figure is an abstract class. It contains a color, center position, pen thickness, pen type, and it can move, select, rotate, and display. What is the use of an abstract class? Can you tell me? Arpita and Dikshita, this is an abstract class. What is the purpose of this abstract class? What is the purpose of an abstract class is different. What is abstract class is different. Arpita? Dikshita? Arpita, Dikshita,
Yes, sir. Yes.
tell me. Even if you don't know the answer, no issues about that, right? But you have to tell something representing your class. What is the use of an abstract class?
It doesn't allow the user to directly make changes in that.
The answer is correct, but the answer is totally wrong. Right? Okay. Now look at that. The purpose of this figure, the abstract class, is to ensure, put architectural constraint on the remaining design. My friend Govind is there here. Okay, I'm talking with him also. The purpose of an abstract class is to put a constraint, design constraint on the entire design. For example, in this case, figure should have a color attribute. That means anything derived from that must have a color attribute. That's all. The figure has a move, select, rotate, display. Everything you derive from this must have these services and all. Right? But how do you move circle? How do you move polygon? That may be different. Right? So purpose of an abstract class is to put certain design constraint on the entire design. Understood? The purpose of putting abstract class in the architecture? Arpita?
Yes, sir. Yes.
This is the correct answer. Right?
Okay.
Now what I do is I allow Arpita to inherit, assume that Arpita, is given a task of 2-dimensional, class design and implementation. I tell you derive from the figure which I'm giving. That means you are forced to, use move, select, rotate, display. You cannot put anything of your name, nothing less. You can be more, but you cannot be less. Govind, am I right now? You cannot be lesser than these 4 methods, but you can be more. What is more? Now look at that, Arpita, she has added scale and fill. But scale and fill need not be there in 1-dimensional, which are given to Dikshita. And scale and fill, the way you do it, it may be different. I may have additional attribute. Look at the diagram. orientation fill type. Got it? Arpita?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay,
Yes, sir.
that's Dikshita. Now look at that. So one dimension I'll give it to Dikshita. I'll ask her inherit from this. So you are bound to have all these 4 methods plus more scale. The scale 1 dimensional may be different, scale 2 dimensional may be different. Then 1 dimensional you can inherit line, arc, whatever it may be. Every object you inherit from whatever it is there must have what is given in the abstract class. And that is the purpose of an abstract class. This is the class diagram. Right? Are you getting it? Right? So the author of this, you can take a screenshot of this. You can take all of you can take a screenshot wherever it is required. Huh? Don't ask me that one, send a PPT, send this one and all. Refer the book. Refer the internet. Internet is a rich content of everything. Right? Right. Right, this is the class diagram. You have inheritance shown here. Right? Just a minute. So I'm back here, right? I will go to my main topic, right? This is your textbook. What I referred earlier was not from your textbook. So look at the object model. Object model, it is being used. It is nothing but a class. Don't ask me that when we run the things, then objects are being created. When we run the program, where are they? Right? Object and class, the term, they are used interchangeably when we are explaining. Govind. We use interchangeably while explaining. I say object diagram, objects are here. Like you should not tell that one, okay, I'm not running a program, where are these objects? No. Right? Got it. Right. Now look at the pipeline model. Pipeline model, right? Here, okay, here the pipe and filter concept is being used. Similar to your compiler design. This is the filter. That means it does certain computation. Then this is another filter. It does certain computation. The output of one is being fed to the other one. This is called push model. This is called, please note down, right? This is called push model. That means one, okay, filter, this is called filter, right? Whatever it computes, the output, it simply pushes to other filter. The other one is pull model. So previous filter, whatever it compute, it doesn't send it to the next one. So next filter, whenever it wanted that one, it will pull from the previous model. See, for example, the Lex and the YAC model, probably you might have gone through, right? Whatever you type on the keyboard, right? Please look into that. There are two important, the functions, okay? One is YY parse, right? How many times this is called YY parse? This is YY parse. Then you have a YY lax, right? Hope you have come across these two terms.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now look at that. How many times YY parse is called in that architecture? How many times YY parse? What is the YY parse? What is the name of the C program that is generated by Lex and YAC tool? Name of the program generated by YAC tool. What is YAC? What is the meaning of YAC? Arpita, Dikshita. Arpita, Dikshita. Right. YACC. No, I'm not teaching compiler. I will not tell you. If you are not telling me, I will not tell you also. Right. Now look at that. Simply I'll tell YY parse is called once. Entire program is submitted and it will say that one you parse it. Right. Then YY parse will return only once, saying that okay, this and all. Then YY parse, whenever it wanted, okay, token and all, it will call YYLex, and YYLex will give a token back, right? This YYLex, every time it wanted that one, it will take from the buffer input, right? Construct a token. What is a token? What is a token? Smallest,
Set of symbols, smallest.
smallest identifiable element of a language is called token, right? It will take every character and all, build a token, and it will send it back to Lex, YYLex. YYLex, some of the symbol it doesn't want, it will push it back to the buffer. It will read it from Govind. It will read it from the buffer, and YYLex again push it back to the buffer of the keyboard or whatever that is there. This is the push and pull mechanism I'm talking, right? YYLex, whenever it wanted a character, it will read it from the buffer. Okay, it is called pull, right? Whenever it doesn't want, okay, there is a symbol called look ahead operator. When I go for look ahead operator, I don't need now, but still I have taken it. So I'll push it back into the buffer again. Okay, push and pull mechanism does particular why this one Lex and DAC, the architecture it works. Please prepare for this also. You may get a question saying that, okay, how do the Lex and DAC work? Okay, show it using the architecture. Draw the architecture diagram to show how a Lex and DAC, okay, works. Identify various components of that one and explain the functioning of each component. Are you getting it? Okay.
Yes, sir.
This is a pipeline kind of things. You can visualize a compiler as lexical analyzer, parser, right? Then you have a code generator, memory allocation and all, okay? All the things, intermediate code generator, final code generation, they work in a pipeline kind of things, right? They are nothing but a filter and pipes. Filter, they do certain computation. Pipe will carry information from one to other. It will have a buffers also because it needs a push and pull mechanism, you know. Did you write a program using Lex and DAC tool? Did you write a program using Lex and DAC tool? Arpita, Dikshita.
Yes,
Sir, we
sir.
have not yet, we have learned programs, but we have not yet implemented it in our systems, sir.
No, you have to do it. The moment, your first day begins with writing programs only. Without a program, we are nowhere. Please understand. Okay, any our session is getting closed in next 5 minutes, right? So we were talking about, right, this pipeline model of invoice processing system. Don't think that is only for compilers. Are you getting it? Right? So please ask your concerned teacher to explain about the pipeline architecture of or architecture of compilers or Lex and DAC program. Please do it. Got it? So shall I close my session today because it's getting closed now? There are only 42 people participated, very low, right? Likely that when this may question, you may get it as a part of your examination. How do you do it? Shall I close?
Yes, sir.
1 minute. Right, 42 people. Okay, ask all other people to join and make use of our discussions. Right? So I will make this again as usual. The video is available in Google Class. Get into that. Right? So we'll continue. And very soon we'll be completing, maybe another week or so, we'll be completing the portion for I2. Then remaining 2 chapters for I3, that also will begin. So with that, I will end my meeting. Is it okay? Any questions? And please ensure that, okay, when I begin next session, if at all you have any questions and all, okay, start asking those questions at the beginning. Got it? Shall I close, Arpita?
Yes.
Dikshita?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yeah.
Okay. And if anybody has any doubt and all, you can talk to me directly or through your class representative anytime. If at all you wanted any of the class to be repeated, even for one student, I'll repeat. Okay, but that student has to come forward through CR and tell me, fix a date and time, and I'll conduct a session for them, any topic. Right? Okay, with this we end this meeting today. Bye.